Hello, my name is Dr. Denise Shranowski, and this is this week's A Dose from Dr. Denise, where I hope to teach, show, and inspire you how to release your God-given health and life potential. And I release these video clips, which are about 10 minutes every Sunday at some point on Sunday. Today's a little bit late. And if you like them, do like my page, A Dose from Dr. Denise, and if it has particular meaning for you, do share them with others. So this week I want to continue on a theme which I've absolutely talked about before, and that theme is how to be present and not somewhere else. And I had some real kind of revelation on this yesterday on a glorious walk in Central Park. So the reason I'm posting this late is I just got home from New York City, where I was spending some wonderful time with some family and friends. And in the middle of the day yesterday, I went out on about a 2-hour beautiful walk in Central Park, perhaps one of the most well-known parks in the entire world. And it was a glorious sunny day, and lots of people were out with loved ones, children, pets. It was awesome to see. I purposely put my phone away for most of the walk. I think I stopped at one point and did take a picture, but I really wanted to just be present on the walk, take it all in, all the sights, and definitely do some people watching. And I have to tell you that, at least 1 in 4 people that I looked at were not being present. You know, my grandfather, who passed away probably about a decade ago, who was a chiropractor, whenever he would visit one of his family members, if he hadn't seen them for a while, he would find a red lipstick in your house, and before he left, he would write the letters PTC on your bathroom mirror, so that the next day when you woke up, you would see it. Sometimes he would write it on a little notepad and put it underneath your pillow. But the letters PTC stand for Present Time Consciousness. And everybody in our family knows what that means if you were to say those letters. It's all about the art of being present. And yesterday there were a handful of people that were present, and there were lots of people that weren't present. In particular, there were a few parents that were pushing their baby strollers, and they were pushing them as if they had a task at hand, and they were talking on the telephone, and they were busy pushing their babies in their baby strollers. And I wanted to stop one of them. I did not, but I wanted to stop one of them and just tell them to put their phones away, to enjoy that absolutely beautiful walk with their baby, because that time is going to go so fast in a heartbeat, as any parent knows who has children that are grown, what we would do to have one moment where we could watch our children playing when they were little, or take them out in their strollers just one more time. There was a man running around one of the lakes that I was walking, and while I was walking around it, he probably lapped me about 3 times, because he was running, and he was running fast, and he clearly was trying to solve all the world's problems, because you could see it in the intensity of his face. There was another gentleman that was standing behind a building with his head flexed in a very, very forward flexed position that most of us chiropractors are always talking to our patients about how important it is to not have text neck. And he was standing in the shade because the sun was glaring on his phone, and he couldn't see the text messages or whatever he was trying to do. And it just absolutely reminded me about the importance of being present. So I wanted to share some things that you can do to stay in that present state. I think all of us suffer from this. We live in the past, we live in the future, and we are trying to figure out so many things. The book that I'm reading this week by Carolyn Mace had a wonderful chapter where she broke down the word chaos. And the book is called Entering the Castle. But the word chaos in Greek actually means a void. And specifically, she referenced in the book that what we're trying to do when we have a void is not for us to fill it, but for God to fill it. And that was the original origin of the word. And I love that, because we think of chaos as something chaotic that we need to figure out, where the actual word means just avoid, just the art of allowing. So there's 3 things that I want to share with you that you can do to try to stay more present in the current moment. So many books written on this topic. You think of Eckhart Tolle and The Power of Now, and Ram Dass has a book on staying in the present. But the present's where it's at, because it's all you got, all right? Today is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice. Today is what we have, and we want to stay in this present state. So 3 things I want to review with you. Number 1, is try to catch yourself from labeling things as anything, but specifically as good or bad. Things are just things, you know. For example, we have to replace our septic system in this home before I leave it. Wasn't something we were planning on, but it's what we have to do. Septic system is going on 30 years old, and it failed inspection, and so we have to spend lots and lots of fun money to replace it. So I might label that as bad, but I imagine the engineer that got our phone call to come do the drawings for our septic tank did not receive that phone call as something bad. So it's the same situation. Septic tank is having to be replaced, but 2 of us are seeing it completely different. So try to catch yourself from labeling things that you have to go through as good or bad, because it's going to change your vibration, how you label it. And some things are just things you have to go through. You know, the proverbial, it is what it is, and, you know, just move on with that. So try to catch yourself when you're labeling things, because, again, that takes brain power, and it certainly takes you out of the present. The second thing is try to catch yourself when you're repeatedly thinking the same thought. So we try to figure so much out in our mind. I mean, when I was looking at people yesterday on this absolutely glorious day in Central Park, when we should have just been walking and looking at the birds and the ducks and the babies and the many, many animals that were so happy to be out, cat or dogs primarily, so many people were just so caught up in their thoughts, because you can see it in their face, and we're trying to think these things to death. So catch yourself when you're having the same thought over and over and over again, as if you can solve something with these repetitious and repeated thoughts. For example, we might think of a conversation that we need to have tomorrow with an employee, a coworker, a parent, a sibling, a friend, and catch yourself where you try to have that conversation 20,000 times in your head today. Today's Sunday, you're having the conversation tomorrow, you're totally not in the present state, you're wasting precious, valuable time today thinking about a conversation that might not even happen tomorrow. So that's point number 2, is try to catch yourself with playing the same story over and over and over again in your head, because it's taking you out of the present and truly, truly, absolutely wasting your energy. And the third thing is there are things to stop doing, like don't label, don't have repeated thoughts, but how can you do something to stay in the present? And that is to think of something awesome and kind to do. So yesterday on my walk, I was trying to get people to smile back at me. You know, we're so caught up in these, you know, in our craziness that we forget about the power of a smile. So I just kept my head up, and I was smiling the whole time. And if I could catch someone's eye, I smiled at them. You know, try to get people to be present with you. You're at a grocery counter, you're at the checkout. Please don't tell me that you're on your phone, that your phone is more important than the person that's processing your checkout, because it's not, and they're a human being standing right in front of you. My grandmother taught me this, my grand-mère, and she would say to me that, you know, Denise, a compliment costs nothing. So a lot of times I try to catch a sincere thing that I can say about someone. Wow, I love your haircut. What a beautiful jacket. You have a beautiful, beautiful smile. I hope you have a great day. And I frequently will just tell people, God bless, thank you for your help, have a great day. I have another friend, when someone says, asks him, how are you doing? He says, I'm blessed. Well, that'll stop you in your tracks, because it's not something you normally hear. So, you know, think about that, of what can you say to someone else, just, it's free, that you can say to make their day, and frankly, it puts you in the present moment. You know, today we celebrate Palm Sunday. And this is where, Jesus, before he's crucified, before Good Friday, he's riding on a donkey, and his disciples friends are laying palms on the ground as he's riding into town. And it's basically like a parade, and he's just being honored, and everybody loves Jesus. And 5 days later, 6 days later, he's being crucified, So our life is chaotic. One day's good, one day's bad. And we have to stop with the labeling of that, If we just recognize that when chaos shows up in our life, if we try not to label it, and we try to just allow it to just be this void, and most importantly, if we trust God is with us to help us through the good, the bad, the ugly, and we trust God to be here with us in the present moment, because that's the only place that you're going to find that God is, in the present moment, then you will get through it. I'll end with this. What if today was your last day? What if today was the very last day that you would be on planet Earth? Would you view today differently? Would you try to just get through all the stuff you have to do and all the things you have to think about and all the world's problems you have to solve? Or would you perhaps stop and smell the proverbial roses and be present? So again, to summarize, try to catch yourself when you're labeling things as good and bad, and just allow things just to be things that you have to go through. Stop repeating the same thoughts over and over and over and over again, as if by thinking something ad nauseum, somehow, some way you can make it better. And number 3, do things that are going to bring you into the present moment. And certainly complimenting somebody else is something that will bring you into the present moment. I hope you enjoyed this week's dose from Dr. Denise. I wish you an absolutely blessed Easter week and Passover week, and you'll hear from me next Sunday, Easter Sunday. Peace out.